welcome everyone to Tailgate Update. This should be Tailgate Update number 42 with Julie Miller. And of course, I'm Jay Moffitt, riding for your pleasure at Ajax Allen on all your major media platforms you follow. And we're starting off this week talking about a lot of sports going on for what's usually a downtime for sports. And we're going to start off with the soccer because there were a couple of championship games this weekend. And the Euro Cup was very competitive, a lot of well-known teams, but it ended up with Spain and England coming out of their rounds, going through the knockout rounds, and going to the final in a very interesting game, which Spain took the win, two goals to one. So it was usually low scoring, but there was no extra time, no penalty kicks.
Now that's rare.
It is. There was a lot during the tournament because with the Euro Cup they do the extra time as opposed to the Copa, and a lot of penalty kicks. And
every single game. The English Premier League makes them a game focal point. So I'm surprised to hear that, but I mean,
it was very close all the way through. Spain jumped out. Spain lost jumped out to 1-0, and then immediately as soon as England caught up with a very aggressive offense, they immediately went back into drop coverage and promptly gave up the game, reminding you of the old defensive thing about the best way to prevent victory is to prevent defense. So that's exactly what for 10 minutes they looked beautiful. They put together a beautiful goal. And even though Harry Kane wasn't playing, they seemed to play pretty well. Spain looked beautiful the whole tournament. And so it was a surprise to no one that they actually made it through.
Well, this is not England's favorite time of the year. You know, there's a positive reminder in the beginning of July that they couldn't control their people very well.
That's true.
And so it's just another loss, just another time when they couldn't get it together in the beginning of July.
Yeah, 1958 since the last time they won, and they've only been in the finals twice since then and lost twice. So, but now we're going to go to the really interesting one, which is the Copa.
And we're going to announce that Caleb is in the house. So if y'all see him, he was doing some dad duties, but now he's back with us. So good to see you, Caleb.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're starting with soccer. So we'll continue marching through that, and then we'll get.
I was a little early then.
Well, speaking of crowd control.
Oh yes,
Julie's got some clips for us of the beautiful scene in Miami.
What a mess.
Ooh. Okay, let me see. Okay. Hey, my cat. Okay. Let me get there. Screen sharing. There we go. Can y'all see the video?
I can. I see the folks. What is that, Julie?
So this is the ceiling vents that people were trying to get through. Yeah, they were taking, I guess, some of them off, and then they were trying to propel themselves through. I think they had a system where they were pushing people.
Man, that is.
Yeah, so we'll just
watch. Innovative. That's brave.
Okay, yeah, seriously. I will play this short clip for y'all. We have people climbing.
Where does it go? Nobody knows.
Yep, so that's what I have for that, but it was a pretty good moment to catch.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes, the gates were one thing, the ceiling vents were a whole nother thing.
Yeah. The reports were that they were closing the gates outside for about an hour or two before they implored everyone to get there early, but then people were showing up without tickets, about 1,000 people or so. And what people don't realize about Miami, I mean, so incredibly soccer crazed
Yes.
and so many immigrants. I looked up the stats. 58% of Miami composed of immigrants, many of them obviously Latin American. And so Argentina is a hugely popular team there, but Colombia, obviously very popular too. And they threw in the halftime show with, I didn't
Oh,
even know soccer
Shakira.
had Shakira, the pride of Colombia. So how are you not going to have people climbing the
Yeah.
gates and going through? I
It,
mean, if you're a
it's a
Star Trek, yeah, if you're a
it's
Star Trek nerd,
go ahead.
I was going to say if you're a Star Trek nerd, the ventilation tubes look like Jeffrey's tubes, like the old Star Trek, where they're trying to isolate where the electrical surge is coming from. So
Yes. I think in a lot of places in America, soccer is kind of understated, but it is important to kind of have an evaluation of like where you're at because like every place is different. And so Miami is definitely going to be a more soccer centric location. So this does make a lot of sense. Since most of the world likes soccer and we're like the odd ones out. Like yeah, they should have saw that coming.
Were
and
they
also,
keeping
yeah,
people out that actually had tickets? Like,
yes,
Yeah, there was people
wow,
shouting about that. I spent $200 on this ticket and like hanging on the fence.
what a mess.
Yeah.
yeah.
What the heck?
And
Like, it's
another
not
thing
like
with the
we're not
demand,
used to
yeah,
hosting huge events like Super Bowls, NCAA championships, World Series, like you name it.
yeah.
Why did this fall apart?
Copa
It was the
America is unique.
conglomeration, yeah, the conglomeration of everything, including Messi being he plays for the Miami team in MLS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So it's
which
just the way that worked out that it was like, of course they're going to show up for probably Messi's last Copa.
is this ankle okay? Speaking of, it,
Well,
it
we'll
looked
actually
nasty.
get into that
That's a
because
great question, Caleb.
Yeah,
as the resident sports injury epidemiologist here, it was a non-contact injury, as we all know, that makes it
yeah,
scarier. Because it means that something, it wasn't, yeah,
it's not a boo
anyway.
boo.
Yeah, it's not because somebody rammed you into something and like popped something out. That was just you doing it yourself.
Yep,
It
dingable
was the
body.
medial inner side of the right ankle.
Hmm.
Another bad sign, they didn't do an exam on the field. They were like it's hypothesized that he probably told them something like this happened, and then
Yeah,
they're like, okay, we're just gonna take you off. No
you're
exam is
just
a
done.
bad sign.
Yeah,
So
we're not
uh
even gonna try to see what this. Like, you're just gonna be done. See you
and
later.
it's probably more common with like older players who know their bodies really well too. Like I'm sure he's
Yeah,
had so many injuries, but still bad sign. So we've had two bad signs so far. There was a unique amount of swelling around the entire ankle. That's also a bad sign.
Hmm.
Because typically it's not it's localized and not the entire.
yeah.
That
It
looks
looked
like
like
me
a
when I don't take my blood pressure meds and walk too much.
Yeah, it looked like a somebody blew up an inner tube in his ankle, like, you just perfectly
Yes.
around.
So serious cankles. Um, and
Maybe he's pregnant.
we've nailed it. However, based on the injury, like how it happened and the location, it's likely not the Achilles, so we can probably. But the fact that he also hasn't told us anything today, because they probably already done the MRI, is also not great. Because like they theoretically, if it wasn't that serious, I don't know. Then again, other sports are like way more closed about this kind of stuff, but you would think if it wasn't that serious, they would mention that. But anyway,
You'd think.
yeah, so the theory is it's probably a sprain. There are some tendons and ligaments in there that can get injured, like centralized on that like inner side. And so he cried, which was interesting, and he also tried to
Oh,
play
that's
through
another
it.
bad sign.
Yes. And he tried to play through it, which was like watching Old Yeller. Because he felt because he I have a
Poor
fever,
guy.
leave me alone.
Jeez.
He fell running. when he tried to get back out on the field. He was running and just whoop, so that wasn't good. So that's what we know. It's probably like something with the tendons and ligaments, but none of the big name ones. Some of the little more obscure kind, and a lot of like bad looking. It doesn't look great, but it's probably not like really, really.
I was going to say, Julie, I think you got something on Rose Namajunas from the UFC fight this
Namajunas.
weekend. Okay.
Yes, I sure do. Thug Rose, y'all probably know her better as that. She had a unanimous win against Cortez. Some people were saying that she looked more like her OG self. However, the fight itself was competing for the most boring match of the year. Apparently it's 25 minutes of snooze fest. So, I couldn't find the highlights, maybe because there weren't many. And then the ones that were present weren't allowed in the country, so that was great. Yeah, but I mean, I heard she did a few, like, she definitely was quick. She was quicker than her opponent. She had some really great, like, punches that landed really well. Some good footwork, but like, the summary was probably more exciting than the match. So that's what I have about that. But people are excited to have Thug Rose back. We haven't seen her for a minute. And when I was digging through her YouTube trying to find some things, I discovered that she has a weird thing about beehives. Yeah, she went opened up the beehive for the first time herself in a month. I think they're in her backyard. And she is updating us all about her beehive expedition. So if you are into that, Thug Rose is also into that, so you can check her out on YouTube.
Wow.
Hobbies are
We're going to swing out of the other sports into our three major sports, and tonight we're going to start with basketball with NBA, Vegas Summer League, and I mean the Vegas NBA, USA Team USA has finally gotten together. They've got all the like they're getting the band back together. They got LeBron, they've got Steph, they've got Kevin Durant, and Kawhi was supposed to be playing, but he had some issues with his health, and he's been replaced by Derek White of the Celtics. So the Celtics have three different players on there. I guess the other 29 teams can kind of go fish, I guess. But anyway, that's where we're at with them. When they played a couple of exhibition games, and at such weird times. But
yes,
they have won the two games, but they're not impressive at all. They beat Canada by less than a dozen, and the game on Monday was a slim win over Australia.
yeah, and who even plays in Canada? Like
Canada, they have Dylan Brooks, and I believe Wiggins is on the team this year, but
yeah, that
they
says
have no
everything.
sides because Zach Edey is playing summer league and not playing with Team Canada.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
And you
But
know the Clippers president actually spoke out about um Leonard getting kicked off the team. Did y'all hear about that?
no, what
Didn't
did he
actually.
say? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, he's upset. Because apparently Leonard is like he said he's up to snuff physically because like apparently, you know, he went through all the hoops, and so he's saying that that was sort of not a solid reason because he was able to like, you know, pass physical, like was fully
Yeah.
healthy. And then I believe someone on the USA Olympics team who's running, I don't know if it's the coach or a GM or something. I don't know how that works. But anyway, he said he wanted to make sure that all the players like played well together, like fluidly, and had good teamwork. So it kind of made it sound like it wasn't so much injury as much as it was like some other kind of clash. Yeah, it was sort of It was sort of odd how he said it. He sort of implied that they were finding it difficult to play with Leonard, or that he didn't quite fit the team as well as his replacement, which I think is it was kind of odd. But he also pointed out it's just business. We're just trying to win over here. As you pointed out, they're not doing that well. So if he saw a weak link, I guess he's like, well, you gotta go, even though, yeah, it's upset quite a few people, and it's not injury based apparently. So
Yeah, that's
Oh,
unusual,
interesting.
but in the '80s teams they always had some chemistry issues. I mean, Isaiah Thomas, they famously said that he was just vetoed by Michael Jordan. So I'm guessing that the other players had something to say about more than just management.
I'm
Yeah, I'd
sure.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just management wants to stick their neck out.
Sticking in Vegas, the summer league is similarly uninspiring this year so far. Even though I heard Reed Shepard was really good this weekend, I
Yeah,
didn't watch him because it's not my one of my teams. But um, they've got Bronny. Uh, Zach Edey had a good first game, turned the ankle, but Bronny is having kind of a rough start.
yeah. Terrence Shannon's averaging like 22 a game
Yes,
and like 4 assists, steal, block, kind of doing it all right now. It's more that's he's averaging probably more than what Bronny's got all together in all of his games.
yeah. There are some undrafted free agents that are really balling out, kind of in
Yeah,
Vegas too.
that Reed Shepard's he is balling out, man. He's as advertised and as well as I hate to say it, but Edie's really seemed like he was playing well before he had that little injury hiccup.
Yeah, that's
So
true. I mean, he looked like he was advertised that he's gotten his speed together. And I mean, 5 years in college. I mean, you're pro ready if you have about 5 years in college.
yeah, you should be.
So, so
It's kind of same deal with Shannon. I mean, a lot of it is upstairs mentally, like them being able to handle it and just kind of understanding the game a little bit better than some of these young cats that are one and done.
yeah, that's true. A
But
lot of the teams are putting a
and they're
team.
stronger, a lot stronger.
Yeah, being in the
I
pros for a year. Yeah,
I thought when the finals were over that we were gonna be done with this, but it's like COVID, okay? Like it's like the Olympics, they happen only periodically. I get that. So like I can excuse that game happening, but we really have to do this summer league too. Like,
The NBA tries so hard to be the NFL.
yeah,
It just cannot garner the same.
just let it
If they
go.
were playing preseason football right now, oh my gosh, it would dominate the waves, like
Yeah.
dominate.
that's true. That's
It'd
true.
be on CBS. It'd be on all the channels.
Yeah, I mean, you have to submit, you have to subscribe to an expensive cable package to even get summer
Mm-hmm.
league, and then after that, you have those regrets because you're like, I subscribed to this to watch, you know, in
I
I
didn't
basically
even
a high
get to be on
school
the team.
gym. Yeah, 4,000 people in Memphis. The high school gyms are 5 and 6,000 people, so it just
Well, it's a
that's
I
little
about the
have no
cruel.
size of them
regrets.
there.
I didn't take partake in that, but I do think that some people can give Bronny just a minute to breathe. Okay, they're on him like
No.
no, he just has to be on the hot seat
Yes.
permanently.
They can
Okay,
thank his
No,
dad.
yeah,
No.
I understand.
I have nothing against Bronny himself. He seems like a fine kid. It's just everything else. It's it's
Yeah,
and
I think there's
his
a lot.
responses in some of these interviews is it's not great either. Like just be honest, like call a
it's
spade a spade.
it's interesting to me that we seem so upset by nepotism when that's literally how the country works. Like,
We're upset about that too. We're just so
Yeah,
ingrained in it. It's
yeah, like that's how politics work, like since ever. So
yeah.
I'm
yeah,
just always surprised when when people are like, no, he's in because of his well, yeah, like
yeah,
everything else.
But
yeah.
MJ
But
could have done the same thing with his son. He did.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't want to be in Bronny's position. I think sometimes Bronny doesn't want to be in
No,
Bronny's position. He didn't.
probably doesn't. He's like, I'm out here and I probably
Yeah,
shouldn't be realistically.
And he has like dad guilt because the only thing that we hate more in this world than nepotism is disappointing our father. So he probably is like, that's probably more scary than the media.
But the other thing is, there's probably 6 or 8 legacy people on the summer league rosters. I mean, I know for the Grizzlies they have Scottie Pippen Jr. and
Yeah.
he had bounced around the league for 2 years before he finally got a contract, and it's still just a two-way contract.
And
So,
people still remind him about his mom all the time.
I'm sure.
It wasn't a 4-year guaranteed contract like Bron.
Yeah, one a 4-year guaranteed contract, but also they do say every time that Larsa Pippen is in the house, it hits Twitter just like that. And I was like, that would be so rough if you're a kid that your 45-year-old mom is there is what they mention about your appearance in the game.
It's the reverse nepotism. It's like LeBron's embarrassing Bronny. Well, or I guess it's the same thing. Actually,
it's so the same thing. It makes Scottie Pippen and Scottie Pippen Jr. look like idiots.
And Scottie himself is that whole family is just a.
And it doesn't make Michael Jordan's family look that great either.
It don't, but
it's so funny. Well, anyway, we're going to get off of Bronny for a while and move into the major sports, which
until next week.
Baseball. Hey, he'd go crazy for 20 or 25 this week.
Hey,
this guy gets feet under him. I do too. It's not his fault. Prove us all wrong.
Exactly.
For this year, the 2024. Well, we're moving to baseball, but we're moving to the Celebrity All-Star softball game. The rosters have been announced, and if somebody could tell me about this, it's every year, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think so. And I've decided I'm gonna start watching it every year now because it's kind of seeing like the receding hairlines and people who haven't ran in a really long time trying to run for the ball was everything I've needed and more.
The talent disparity is quite shocking also. Like it's kind of like the NBA Celebrity All-Star game. You got some people out there that just cannot do it.
Oh no.
And then you got people like Kevin Hart that like truly can hoop. So
we had like basketball players, football players, and like it's just weird to see them in a completely different environment, but like in fact it's just too good to miss ever again. So anyway, yeah, we had Deion Sanders with his cowboy hat. It really grabbed my attention because it was Pedro Martinez, not surprising to see him out there. Jenny Finch, Tiffany Haddish, Frontera Tech, Mike Towers, Kid Mero, Wes Wilson, Bobby Bones, who was the MVP, and Terrell
Wait a minute, Bobby Bones can hoop? I mean, Bobby Bones can play baseball? Softball?
Yeah, he did. I think he got a home run. I think he knocked it out of the park. Granted, we had somebody who drinks more beer than exercises trying to run after the ball, but I mean, at this point, it was kind of, yeah. The highlights were really amazing. I'm gonna recommend that to everyone. It is a comedic watch, 100%. You just gotta see it. It's kind of like watching when all your dad's friends come over and they talk about mowing the grass and grill steaks. It feels like that, but in a baseball time. So would recommend.
Okay. Well, moving on to some real baseball.
That was real.
Okay, some actual professional baseball. The trade deadline's coming up, and I'm going to first go to Caleb as far as any rumors. So far, Dodgers, Phillies, and Orioles. Anything that you've heard as far as big rumors, Caleb, for the trade deadline?
Just I think we talked about it 2 weeks ago now about
2 weeks
Bellinger,
ago, yeah,
possibly. Cubs have won enough. I think that they might not sell. Though Bellinger would very much be if they do, a real candidate just because of his contract and how log jammed they are in the outfield. They got a ton of outfield talent in the system right now, and kind of hard to find playing time for everybody. But other than that, not really. I think that the White Sox are probably going to be poached the most with Luis Robert Jr. and possibly starting pitcher Garrett Crochet, who's going to start the All-Star game for the AL tomorrow. Is tomorrow? The All-Star
Yeah,
game?
home run derby
Yes.
tonight
Tonight,
Yeah.
yeah.
The game
on Monday
tomorrow.
night. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's all I've really heard. It's gonna be kind of interesting. I've heard Dodgers might be pretty aggressive. They just put Yamamoto, their star pitcher from Japan, on the 60-day DL or IL now. So we'll see what happens. There's so many teams in the NL specifically that are all like really mashed together. You know, there's probably like 6 or 7 teams that are within a game or two of each other. So it's pretty muddy right now, and nobody really did any favors. I mean, the Cubs like kind of moved up, but they're still just in the middle of the pack. So
Since I Googled this, Jay, I will shoot out a couple of things and see if y'all heard about this. A right-hand outfielder for the Phillies. Apparently they're in the market. I need you to look shocked, okay? The Blue Jays do not want to part with Vladimir Guerrero Jr.,
which is a bummer.
as Chisholm could be leaving the Marlins. And then you just mentioned Garrett Crochet. That sounds way more French than when I just crochet. Going to the Dodgers. The Orioles are on the hunt for a pitcher. Those are the big stories.
Because the Orioles got really good starting pitching right now.
I guess they have an injury or something. Isn't there something going on with their pitcher? Because apparently they have a reason to look.
Might be bullpen. Corbin Burns is getting the nod for them, or no. Yeah, Crochet isn't starting for the AL. Sorry, Corbin Burns is starting for the AL in the All-Star game. Paul Skeens is getting the start for the NL. That was the young. I really wanted to see Skeens versus Crochet for an inning or two. I thought that would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I may watch it for the first time in a while because everyone keeps talking about Skeens.
He's the real deal, man. I've watched him tear up the Cubs now, I think 3 times. I mean, just, leading the league in 100-mile-an-hour pitches and threw a no-hitter for 7 innings before he was pulled. His last start, just a machine. And he's just like out there, just smiling, having fun. Like it's no big thing for him. It's so wild.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, good for him.
I guess nothing really interesting has happened in the trading market since Luis Reyes was traded in May. So people are really hoping something exciting happens before the deadline closes at the end of July.
Yeah, I got a couple of weeks. Usually it's like that day is when it really just blows up. Because every team's kind of just waiting until the last second before they need to be like, am I pulling the plug on the season? Or are we going for it? So,
which makes total sense. And there could be something that comes up in between now and then. Why would you do it early?
Major injuries. You could go on a stupid hot streak or a really bad losing streak. Never know. Baseball is extremely fickle.
Yeah, you were talking 2 weeks ago that the Cubs might be sellers, and now they've made up some ground and it sounds different. A month ago, they were talking about the Cardinals could be sellers, but then they went on a crazy
Cardinals are like
really incandescent streak.
33-18 over the past month and a half or so. So baseball is so weird. And it's one of those things where it's like when you're slumping and you're struggling, it's not like in football or basketball where it's like, I'm just going to play harder. I'm just going to hit the guy harder next time. It's like, no, like you got to very much stay within yourself and trust the process that you've had to get there. And just, it's so goofy. You can rip the ball at 105 miles an hour and it'll find someone's glove. You could just dink it for 60 miles an hour, a little blooper, and it'll be a double. You just never know.
Makes sense.
That was deep, Caleb.
Thank you. Thank you. I tried to.
Yeah, I think we covered baseball for all that's going on with it, and we'll roll over to some of the off-season things in football, which are just a strange mix this week because the training camps haven't started yet. no major moves going on. So, but we'll start out with the release of a video game about 10 years in coming. And about a week ago, it was announced that Arch Manning would be
Oh
in the
my
game.
God. I
When
don't
it
think
was
I,
announced he wasn't going to be in the game, he got a $50,000 to $60,000 payoff to contribute to having his name and likeness in the video game. Um, I mean, what do you think about that, Caleb?
I
now
think the folks at EA were working really hard.
I want to hear everything you want to say about this, Jay, because you've been like waiting your entire life for this moment and you had every reaction in the world. So I think this is all you. I
Are
want you
are
to
you
say
getting the game,
everything.
Jay?
I'm a geeky video game guy from way back.
Oh, dude, we're playing. We're playing.
I mean,
On the
Oh,
show. On the
oh,
show.
ooh, that'd be fun.
no, I mean I'm the only person my age. I literally play. I play all 72 holes of whatever they're playing on the PGA Tour every major. I
That's
played the
so awesome,
tournament on my EA Sports. But anyway,
dude.
for this, it's like
Heck
it was
yeah,
2014 the last time they had it,
yeah,
because of the um, because it was a name, image, and likeness lawsuit
yeah.
filed by the forward out of UCLA, and they
Mhm.
discontinued the game because they didn't have the money to put forward. This time, they told them that they would give them a free copy of the game, plus they would be getting $600, and over 10,000 NCAA athletes opted into this.
I would take
So
it.
yeah, I mean, you get a copy of the game plus $600, and all your friends get to see you in the game. And so over
Oh,
10,000 people opted in
yeah.
to that, and so it's going to be the first one they've had with that since 2014. And so the Arch Manning thing was very late in the game. Uh, I mean, it's a great way to make an entrance, because
Oh
I
yeah,
mean you're literally the second string quarterback in Texas, and yet you're the first name people. Oh yeah, Arch Manning is in the game. Oh, you mean the second string
dude.
quarterback in Texas?
Yeah, they
Oh
got
my God,
him as
it's
like
like
a
it has to do
87
with who his
overall.
family is or something. It's weird.
Yeah,
It
they got
is
him at like an
weird.
87 overall, and I'm like, how do they even know? Like he's played what half a game his
Yeah,
entire career. Uh Man, the rich
But
just get
Jay,
richer.
like, tell us all the Arch Manning things that are in your soul right now.
well, the main thing is that he is the funny Manning. Okay, the other two were great, but when you went to the Peyton, the kind of quiz bowl thing they would have on Friday nights, they would have Cooper Manning, who was a wide receiver that was getting passed to by Eli Manning back at Ole Miss, but he had a back injury, and
Mm-hmm.
it was so severe that he was told he couldn't play anymore at risk of severing the spinal cord. And so he dropped out, became an accountant. I believe he worked in the Manning organization as an accountant, which would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And he just decided to work on being like a football dad, and he raised up this incredible person to be going through the New Orleans high school system and
Mm-hmm.
breaking all of Peyton's old records at the high school level there. And then he came out to he's in his second year behind Quinn Ewers at Texas, but Quinn didn't go pro, and Arch didn't transfer. So technically, he's still the second string quarterback there um, at Texas. So we'll see how the game comes out. I mean, it's done by the same people that do Madden, but it has dynasty mode, and people are just incensed for like the last year or so to get really on this, because for the
Mm-hmm.
last 10 years people have been doing fake mock-ups on discords and things like that, where they'll put the stats together, put the uniforms together, and run bootleg versions of it
Ugh.
off of you know off of Discord servers, to where you can not that I would know anything about that, but That's what I've been told by people that know those things.
That's the rumor, huh?
Mhm. Yeah, I'm glad it's back just for that reason.
I'm glad that much like moonshine, this will now be legalized and we're good to go.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I think the next thing, which is possibly even more interesting than this, is Belichick is joining the
Mm.
inside the NFL team.
Yeah, in addition to he's going to be appearing on the Manning cast quite a bit on Monday Night Football that's been released, but then
Okay.
also he thought there wasn't enough time in front of the camera, so he's going to be joining Inside the NFL with Chad Johnson. He's also coming in, and they'll be joining Ryan Clark and Chris Long. It's through the CW network, and then it'll be on Netflix the next day, I believe Wednesday.
Okay. Is Chris Long? He's like one of the Longs, like the Howie Longs,
Howie
correct?
Long, yeah, Howie Long, son Chris and Kyle was a lineman for the Bears.
Okay.
So yeah, and they actually have Kyle and Chris have their own podcast,
Hmm.
much like Travis and Jason Kelsey do.
Or
So
Jay and Caleb and Julie.
Yeah.
yeah, much like
And
us. Tailgate update. Come check us out.
and if you want to get I have been writing quite a bit on the forkball.com, shameless pitch about Belichick's situationship that I am highly critical of. I
His
think you'll get that
love
and
life.
I think you'll get that tone in the article. Yeah, I've written a couple. Because I won't say what, but something gives me the ick a lot. So, yeah.
So are
Don't
you
get the ick.
saying that? I was going to say, so probably Belichick's girlfriend younger than Chris Long's wife. Is
Oh,
this
by a long shot.
probably?
She's closer in
Couple
age.
years.
She's almost closer in age to his granddaughter than she is his youngest kid. She's 3 times younger than him, like
Wow.
exactly. Yeah. It gives me the ick, and that's just what I'll say. It went from nice grandpa to a different kind. So
But I was really surprised that it took him this long to get a TV hookup because he went the whole last year. He wasn't uh, an analyst anywhere. I was wondering if perhaps there was something in his contract that kept him out, or whether he just was flush with cash and wasn't worried about it.
oh, I think he has plenty of cash, and he might have
Yeah,
been
he's got cash.
it might have
It's
been
probably more like I'm just gonna fully remove myself. Maybe this coaching cycle, I get hired as a coach. Namely, thought it would be Atlanta, didn't work out. So maybe this is Bill just being like, yeah, I'm done.
yeah, he has other things to keep him busy.
This is true too.
Ugh. Yeah, so
Well, see now that he's got a girlfriend, now he's got to get the money cash flow going again. So
emphasis on the girl.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to move on to some sad news, which was
Oh,
former NFL defensive coach Monty Kiffin, architect of the
Yeah.
Tampa 2, died. He was 84 years old.
Uh-huh.
tell you what,
So,
the Tampa 2 was a staple for that Buccaneers, and then obviously the Buccaneers Tampa 2, but then for the Bears, they ran that with Lovie Smith for a good long while, really, and Urlacher anchored that. So a node to Monty Kiffin, man. We're getting old, folks.
Yeah, tell me
yeah,
about it.
I mean, I
Also,
remember when Kiffin, Lane Kiffin was just like a young punk who got the job because of his daddy.
is he
You
not
know,
still
Is
young?
that not a
now
theme?
yeah, this theme of the show.
Yeah, that's today's theme of the show.
Lane Kiffin proved
highlighted
us all
nepotism.
wrong.
Well, he made a really heartfelt tribute to his dad. So if he's still a tool in general life, he is able to really pull it together for that. So I don't know anything about him, but he had a really nice, concise, and heartfelt thing. So
I think Lane's grown up a bit. I
That
think
makes
he's
sense.
still a bit that frat boy.
aren't we all
know.
just a little bit of a frat boy on the
We
inside?
might be a little bit deep
We're
down.
just too old to do it.
About
I was going,
Jacoby Jones.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
40 years old.
Man, did anybody get any
So,
details on that? What happened?
was it not a heart attack or was it
Was
something
it?
different?
I just all I seen was that he had passed away, and that was I didn't really look into much more after that. But normally that stuff kind of just pops up on my feed too. So
it only happened a day ago, so they might not have like the cause of death just yet. Let me see here. He's survived by his mom. Oh, no mom should ever have to bury their child.
Yeah, I was fixed to say that's always first line is so sad.
yeah.
Speaking of New Orleans, he was born there. Let me see here. Yeah. I don't see any cause of death at
Nothing
this
yet.
time.
Okay, that makes sense. Like you said, since it was today only.
Yeah, and I think like, is anybody else noticing? And Jay, I know you're as young as me and Caleb, but has there always been this thing where everybody's dying in their 30s and 40s like flies, or is that a newer thing?
That's more of a newer thing, but I've noticed the last 5 years a lot more people dying in their 50s than really 60s or 70s.
Yeah,
Because
young.
there's a lot of terminal illnesses that, I mean, the pancreatic cancers and the prostate cancers and things that really hit people in their 50s if they're not taking care of themselves, it seems like. But
So
yeah,
should we make a plug about going to your doctor for that? Not planned, but definitely
I'll
do that.
definitely do that. Make sure you get your checkups, men and ladies too. If you're taking care of your families,
But not for
remember,
your
look out for number one. Yeah, you got to take care of yourself to take care of everybody else.
Yeah, get your respective scans and tests. Yes.
That's it.
Absolutely. The plug you didn't know you were getting and you didn't know you needed.
That's true. I was going to say, I think, were there any other major football rumors going on right now? Because I was trying to scan to see if there was something else going on. I mean, I don't want for us to roll things up here on like a death. Was there something else going on besides just training camp and it being silly season? I mean, at least we have no major DWI arrest or anything crazy like that going on this week.
You're kidding, right?
Yeah.
What?
Was that a joke?
I'm not
Jordan
kidding.
Addison.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm sorry.
Receiver.
There was one I missed, huh?
Like today.
Okay.
Like just today. That was really good
Can't
timing.
Make it up, man. That's awesome.
That's amazing because I was like, okay, you have to be leading into this. Like, No,
no, accidental, I assure you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was gonna discuss that, and there's nothing that wouldn't be discussed in the true crime segment, was what I was gonna tell you, Jay.
Okay.
Those are the only things that are going on right now.
Okay.
Caleb Williams and Roma Doomsday are still unsigned. So
Caleb Williams is unsigned?
Yeah, has not signed his contract yet.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
This close to training camp?
Yeah, he doesn't have an agent, so everything's on his own.
That's kind of crazy. His family's probably involved if there's no agent then.
Yeah, I'd imagine. That's kind of what a concern of mine was.
Are they agents?
Moving to him. I'm like, I feel like something like this could happen. If it's actually a real issue, what's the second contract going to look like?
I was going to say, yeah, the number one pick, there shouldn't be much.
I mean, it's all slotted and capped anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you look at how much the last year's number one pick got, and then whatever the NFL says extra you can give them, you give it to them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like maybe you could be like, hey, I want this in incentives, or I want this portion fully guaranteed, or signing bonuses. Like there's very minimal verbiage though that you could be arguing about, honestly. So
right.
A little spice,
maybe
a little controversy.
Hard Knocks is coming, so my theory is possibly looking at it from a positive view. Maybe he's waiting till the cameras show up to sign the paperwork, so they can post, like they can put it in the episode.
That would get a lot of
Rome
views.
and Caleb sign at the same time, and it's all hunky dory and whatever. But
I would watch just for that for sure.
Yeah, I'm watching regardless. So hey,
Yeah, but
The more
that for
content,
sure.
the better.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
let's just cross our fingers because I like that idea.
it's what I'm holding on to. Yes.
Yeah, let's take a circle around the room. Was there something that came up tonight that anybody felt I cut them off, or we need to talk about a little bit more in depth?
Is this the circle of trust?
This is it, sir.
Is there a talking stick?
We should literally do a virtual one.
Yes. We just have like each of us have the same stick, and it looks like we're passing it off.
Right. We make a replica of 3. Yes.
No. To answer
You
your
don't have
question.
anything else to add?
I guess. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
That kinda died.
Yeah, I was going to say, everyone after they finish the podcast, watching the podcast, go out and buy EA Sports. They've paid over 10,000 Division I athletes to go. So at least roll it up and then remember how you used to be really good at video games and put it back in the drawer, I guess.
Yeah,
It
and
looks
get
pretty
your
slick,
screenings.
so.
That's also a lesson, and we want everybody to, on the way to the EA Sports, buying that, go see your doctor on the way. And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Don't drive drunk. There's things like Uber. And ding for the bell. And let us know what you were thinking. Do you appreciate all of our PSAs? Let us know.
Okay. And like I said, I'm Ajax Allen on Twitter. You'll find me arguing with 22-year-old frat boys and 65-year-old great grandmothers. So be sure to go on to Twitter for that. Every day.
In between.
Skip none.
Yeah. No stone left unturned, Jay.
Oh, Caleb, your handle there again.
At Cap 11, I'm doing much the same as Jay is. Stirring the pot.
Sounds good.
And I'm just retweeting every, well, you'll see. And I'm at It's Miller Crime, so. Alright.
Sounds good.
See y'all next week.